Good afternoon. I'm Jordan Rasmusson, Senator from Fergus Falls and the Republican Senate lead on the Human Services Committee. After record spending and tax increases over the last 2 years, Governor Walz's budget proposal includes a more than $400 million property tax increase. While the governor proposes $1.5 billion in human services cuts, that figure includes $460 million in cost shifts to our local counties. This is effectively a property tax increase that will be felt by Minnesotans across the state. This cost shift includes establishing a 5% cost shift for residential services paid through medical assistance waivers, increasing the cost shift to counties for the Minnesota Sex Offender Program, and other human services cost shifts. The governor's budget shows these cost shifts as savings, but in reality, the proposal is simply putting a greater burden on Minnesota's property taxpayers. With me today, I have county leaders who can share the impact that the governor's human services cost shifts will have on their counties and their property taxpayers. I'll now turn it over to county leaders, starting with Commissioner Jenny Mojo from Clay County. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Jenny Mojo, Jenny Mongeau. I'm a county commissioner from Clay County. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with all of you today. As Clay County continues to grow rapidly, we are proud of the work being done to meet the needs of our residents. However, we are facing challenges to meet those needs given the current fiscal landscape. This area not only is economically dependent on agriculture, but it also contends with lower incomes, higher poverty rates, and higher cost of living than other parts of Minnesota. With longer commutes and fewer population centers, residents often spend a higher percentage of their income on housing and transportation. The distances residents travel to and from these areas for access of basic services compound the financial struggles that many of us are facing in our region. Many of the integral employment opportunities and health services are only available to our residents on the North Dakota side of the river. We are here today to share those realities that we are facing, knowing that without change, the governor's proposed budget will only exacerbate these challenges. Many counties like Clay, particularly those on the border, already struggle with the disconnect between state policies and financial capacities of the local governments. This disconnect is creating inequities, hardships for counties trying to provide vital services to our communities. We have several key areas of concern. The disability waiver services. The proposed 5% cost share for disability waiver services would add approximately $1 million to Clay County's budget. If the proposal includes all waivered services, it would require a $3.1 million cost to Clay County, resulting in significant financial pressure. These costs would strain our ability to provide necessary services to vulnerable residents and could result in a disruption of other vital services. The Minnesota Sex Offender Program shift is expected to add approximately $142,000 to Clay County's budget. This further burden on our finances comes at a time when we know that Clay County's budget is hurting. We're already dealing with so much increased demands for our service, and the question we face is, how can we meet the needs of our residents with the financial pressures as they continue to mount? The behavioral fund cost shift will similarly add an additional $43,000 to Clay County's budget. Although this is smaller than the other shifts, all the additional costs take away from the ability for us to fund other critical services. The total cost of the governor's shift is nearly $3.2 million annually for Clay County, and that cost is likely to grow as we're only including those 3 areas for discussion. To cover this, we would be forced to raise our property tax levy by approximately 6.95%. Let me repeat that. 7% approximately would necessitate a property tax increase. It's just unfeasible. This would be a significant burden on our residents, particularly those on the fixed incomes already, facing economic hardship. And it is important to recognize that this increase would not only strain our local budget, but could lead to further cuts for other important county services. For instance, public health, transportation infrastructure, and emergency services. Clay County is already trying to meet the needs of our community by including a prioritization of youth mental health needs. This shift would continue to exacerbate our ability to focus on the most critical needs. It is important to note that these shifts don't just affect Clay County, they affect all citizens alike, bipartisan citizens alike. They're impacting counties across all of Northwest Minnesota and all of Minnesota alike, especially those relying on agricultural and manufacturing that are already experiencing high poverty rates, lower median incomes, and these mandates are creating a financial strain that will only deepen existing inequities. In addition, we know for many counties, farmers in ag land pick up a disproportionate amount of the tax levy needs. For those communities, this means farmers are faced with picking up a new burden, and the production of this land is critical to the lives, livelihood, and this production on the land is critical to the lives, livelihood, and the food security of millions of people throughout the world. We understand that the state faces huge financial decisions. We want to emphasize the importance of considering the impact on local governments. Our cities, school districts, municipalities, and counties are all doing the best we can to meet the complex needs of our citizens. The proposed shifts not only undermine our ability to deliver essential services, but could disrupt economic stability in our region. We are at a tipping point, and without change, these financial pressures will only grow. We are here to be part of a conversation, to collaborate with our Republican and Democratic leaders alike. We're trying to help the state find sustainable solutions, and it is critical that our state works with us to create policies that support both urban and rural communities in providing the services that our residents need. We're committed to sharing our stories, working together to address these challenges, and ensuring that we can continue to serve our communities effectively. Thank you for the opportunity to join with you today to express our concerns. We appreciate the attention to the hardships that all of our counties are facing, and we hope this discussion will lead to meaningful solutions so that all Minnesotans can thrive. Thank you. And I'm going to introduce Commissioner Dave Beer.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Dave Beer, D-A-V-E-B-E-E-R, as I always like to say, as a bottle of. So, good afternoon. Thank you, Senator, for having us here today. I guess I'm really kind of the same song, second verse, representing Scott County. I'm the chair of the board there this year. Why are we here? I mean, we're here to discuss the budget. Sure, of course we are. But why? The people of this great state need to know how it will impact their property taxes and their everyday lives. It will. It's a guarantee. But before I get started, we need to remember how we got here. We all remember 2023 when we had a very large surplus, and that was spent. And we added approximately $10 billion in new spending. Then the state budget office, the state's own budget office, rings the bell and says, hey folks, you have a problem. It's a budget problem, it's a big one. So we all know it now as the dreaded structural imbalance. That's what we deal with at the county. Now what? Well, the governor takes to the streets and shows up to the meeting of the county officials this past December at AMC and says, well, we all have to make hard decisions. And then in the next breath talks about property tax reform. In my world and our world, those two things don't coexist. So the speech was telegraphing this very budget, basically telling the counties, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to be crude, but look out, we're flushing twice to get all of these new expenses down to all 87 counties. It's not sustainable. We can no longer do this. We can't. It is just not sustainable. And it's also not leadership, in my humble opinion. The continuance of unfunded mandates pushed down from the state to the counties only hides an increase in Minnesota state income tax, the rate. It just hides the rate. It's couched as a property tax. The services, the mandates come down to the county, and we have to levy for those things as it's a mandate. So have we thought about ways collectively at the state? Have we thought about ways to trim and cut? And the governor's budget clearly says no. So let's talk briefly about how this would land in our, as I like to say, our cute little adorable Scott County, just across the river. This is a brief description, right? This is just pertains to this go-around. It's not exhaustive. For us, the citizens of Scott County, it would be an increase of approximately $934,000 in year one. And that would balloon to over $4.5 million by 2029. Those are the things that we know about in these moments. So we're talking about a 5% hit to our property tax levy. I think yours was 6 something or other, 5. On top of all of the other things that we're already doing. Healthcare, has that gone down for anybody anytime? I don't think so. Labor rates, snow plows, people like our roads plowed. So that's a 5% hit just in this area. So those are the base numbers, but since we really only have the one lever as the county to raise revenue, and that's raising the levy, the property tax levy. And if anyone knows me, that is not one of my favorite things to do, and I don't from time to time when it does not make sense. If we can't live on growth alone, I tend not to pass the levy. So there are a few other areas that the county has authority to cut, because much of it, if not most, can't say all, but most of it is mandated by the state. But we would have to look at cuts in areas where we've been an innovator in areas, bringing hope and transformation to the people's lives that we serve, often the most vulnerable, trying to break those generational cycles and get people to self-sufficiency. So we have invested in just a few areas. We've invested in areas that has reduced the number of folks on our coordinated entry list by working with nonprofits and faith groups that excel in tackling homelessness. You may have noticed that government is not always great at fixing problems, but there are people out there that are. So we're trying to team up and partner with those folks to bring about real outcomes, real change, real transformation, and real hope in people's lives. We've also reduced our out-of-home placements to the lowest point in 20 years. Get a little emotional thinking about it. These are all big things. By utilizing a family resource center, again, utilizing partners and community engagement. We've reduced the jail numbers by partnering with law enforcement. I want you to hear that, partnering with law enforcement and creating a coordinated response team that has decriminalized mental health. So other areas that the county would have some authority to cut: parks, libraries, licensing and passports, things that most everyday citizens use on a regular basis. So we don't really want to do that. So some of these things we are doing, like I said, are leading to hope and transformation in people's lives. And here's the beautiful thing. I mean, that is a beautiful thing in and of itself, but it brings down the cost of government, because the folks that are in deeper end services, if we can prevent or get them early and not have them in our jails or in our other areas of deep end services and out producing, I mean, what a great thing for them. It's a beautiful thing. So we would rather work with you on real outcomes and at a lower cost. So the bottom line is this. We didn't share in what caused this deficit. We didn't share in expanding state government. We don't even get to share in what shapes these mandates. They're pushed down to us as statutes and mandates, and we'd have to deal with it. So, needless to say, we don't also want to share in cleaning up the state's mess of its own making, but we are willing to share our solutions. Thank you very much. And pass it to this fine young man.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name's Dennis Generu. That's D-E-N-N-I-S. Generu is G-E-N-E-R-E-A-U. I am the Carroll County Administrator. Prior to that, I was I'm here on behalf of the Carroll County Board, its staff, and the citizens that we all serve. Carroll County is a rural northeast Minnesota county, home to over 36,000 hardworking Minnesotans. Of that number, nearly 1/4 are children under the age of 18. Most attend school in 7 K-12 public school districts scattered throughout the county, and a K-12 tribal school located on the Fond du Lac Reservation. The pride in these schools and their students is clearly visible in each of the communities that support them. And for some of these communities, the schools, above all else, makes those communities vital. It does not take long to realize that Carleton County's most valuable resource is its children and their families. Carleton County has long made it a priority to keep children and families safe, efforted daily through collaboration between the sheriff, the county attorney, public health and human services, the Fond du Lac tribe, schools, and others. This collaboration has included frequent and extensive child maltreatment reporting training and the development of a multifaceted, multidisciplinary child welfare response. Carleton County is in the top 15 among Minnesota counties in the numbers of child neglect, child physical abuse, child sexual abuse, and child mental injury reports made and investigated. However, the governor's current budget proposal, which includes tax shifts of over $800,000 annually to Carleton County, will have negative and chilling impact on response. Children will be left safe. Carleton County has a modern progressive pay program across all disciplines. Nonetheless, the past 24 months have brought significant challenges in filling and retaining sheriff's deputies, assistant county attorneys, and child protection workers due in significant part to the ever-rising salaries of competing non-county agencies and private employers. Carleton County has historically been one of the 5 highest tax counties in the state of Minnesota, despite regularly approving levy increases lower than the vast majority of other counties in the state. In fact, Carleton County has become so adept at managing all non-staff related aspects of county service provision that it regularly is able to apply all or nearly all of the years of each year's levy increase exclusively to cover the rising costs of labor. Our inability to keep up with wages is not due to a lack of desire or creativity. It arises from a myriad of complex economic challenges that are only compounded by the cost shifts the governor is proposing. From a practical perspective, Carleton County cannot absorb much, if any, state-imposed cost shifts and still be expected to maintain the necessarily high standard of response that child welfare matters require. Our property tax-paying citizens are all but tapped out, and yet the state is alarmingly casual in its suggestion that counties absorb these costs by simply going back to the property well time across Minnesota have gotten very proficient at doing more with less in light of ever increasing have their limits. Carleton County, as one of 87 budget that does not shift, creating a disparate impact on more rural counties especially, but instead provide a meaningful support to Minnesota counties in their earnest endeavors across all types of service delivery, especially their unwavering efforts to keep our children, families, and communities safe. Thank you. And next, I'd like to welcome Kurt Mortensen, Otter Tail County Commissioner.
Good afternoon, Otter Tail County Commissioner Kurt Mortensen, KU, and SON. Thank you for this opportunity to share how the governor's proposed budget cost shifts will impact Otter Tail County's budgets, levies, and property taxes. Today, the cost shifts that I'm referencing involve programs through the Department of Human Services and how these shifts will impact Otter Tail County budget. Disability waiver services. A 5% cost shift for disability waiver services would cost the county over $800,000. Minnesota sex offender program, using the 10% or 25% to 40% calculation will cost the county an additional $844,690. Behavioral health, substance use disorder services, a 27% cost shift and revenue decrease will cost the county $143,000. The total proposed cost shifts related to the disability waiver services, the Minnesota sex offender treatment program, and behavioral health is projected to total $1.7 million. This equates to over 3% of the Otter Tail County levy for 2025. When projecting out to the state's fiscal years of 2028 and 2029, and that's the time frame when proposed cost shifts will be implemented, the impact will be even higher for counties. Additionally, this comes at a time when other state programs, such as the Paid Family and Medical Leave Act and the Minnesota African American Family Preservation Act, both important programs for the workforce and important for Minnesota families, will need to be included in county budgets. Paid family and medical leave is expected to total around $200,000 if using the 50-50 split. The Minnesota African American Family Preservation Act is projected to cost between 1.2 and 1.9 million. Again, this program is important, it's historic, but the costs alone underscore the need for the legislature to take further review on this implementation and the current lack of state support if this rollout is going to be successful. Including these costs will result in almost 3.2 million added to the levy of an overall 5 to 6% levy increase. Considering inflation and workforce costs, including salaries and insurance, this is expected to result in double-digit levy increases when these budgets. Counties are willing to and want to partner with DHS to have conversations about policy changes that can control costs without cost shifts. However, this proposed budget was brought forward without any conversations, without any discussions with the county at the table. Shifting costs to counties will directly impact property taxes and will affect the most vulnerable populations who are already struggling to pay basic needs such as housing, grocery, and health care. Thank you, Senator Rasmusson, for this opportunity to talk about how the governor's proposed budget cost shifts will impact local property taxes. And I will do a handoff to Commissioner Jack Swanson from Roseau County.
Good afternoon. My name is Jack Swanson, S-W-A-N-S-O-N. I am a sixth-term commissioner from Roseau County. You've heard from folks that are a great deal smarter than me, and so I'm not going to repeat all of what they said. I'm just a hick from the sticks from up in northern Minnesota. So what I will say is this. The group of us from the counties are not here as Republicans, and we're not here as Democrats. We are here as nonpartisan local government officials, and you've heard all of why we're here. But I will just say that counties were created by the state of Minnesota to administer the programs the state wants us to administer. Sometimes they compensate us for what we're doing, and sometimes they don't. And this cost shift is an example of what I'm talking about here on mandates by the state of Minnesota. So with that, that's my simple statement, and I'm pleased to present the pride of Glencoe, Minnesota, Senator Gruenhagen.
Appreciate that introduction. Thank you. My commissioners couldn't be here today on District 17, part of Carver, a little bit of Meeker, and also Wright counties. I do have a letter that came from the Meeker County Commissioners. I have also talked to some commissioners over the phone. They expressed very similar thoughts to what has been expressed here today. I believe Rachel handed out the letter from the Meeker County. I'll just read a couple excerpts from that. You know, the governor's budget recommendations for the state of Minnesota for fiscal year 26-27 biennium includes more than $200 million in cost shifts to counties for a variety of mandated services. These cost shifts lead to higher costs for counties without funding. These costs for taxpayers of Meeker County will cost per year over $860,000. You can do the multiplication, which will equate to an increase in the property tax levy of about 5% on top of normal increases. And you heard from the rest of the commissioners how many other things that they're doing. In addition, the cost shifts of the proposed budget also includes reductions in aid payments to counties. And finally, the Meeker County Board of Commissioners has prided itself in minimizing increases to its property tax levy to help control the cost of high-quality government services for its constituents. The governor's proposed budget will make it more challenging. We hope that the impact of these proposals on local taxpayers will be weighed as negotiations surrounding the final budget continue throughout the legislative session. Signed, Paul Johnson, Commissioner Chair of Meeker County. I also had a call just before I got here from Sibley County Commissioner. He voiced very similar concerns to this letter and also what has been said by the county commissioners. You know, last biennium, I think all of you are aware, we grew government at about 40% in 2 years. Now we're facing a $5.1 billion deficit. We'll see what the March 6th projection holds. But to me, the legislature with the governor is a big reason why we're facing these problems. And instead of dealing with them at the state level, we're looking to cost shift them to our local counties. I believe that's wrong. I believe we, on a bipartisan basis, we need to address this. And we can't grow government at a rate way faster than what the private sector's ability to fund it is. Thank you. And now I'd like to introduce Senator Rasmusson again.
Thank you, Senator Gruenhagen. At this time, happy to take any questions for the commissioners or any questions that folks might have. Rachel?
Yeah, go ahead. You can ask commissioners questions too.
The reason the governor says he wants to do this is because this program and also some transportation costs are like the single biggest drivers when we're talking about, you know, the looming budget deficit, and that if you were to cut, you know, whole agencies wouldn't cover the gap that this could potentially create. So I guess, Senator, what are you thinking might be a way to get at that broader point, if not this plan? Because obviously, you know, the legislature will have to green light anything the governor wants.
Yeah, and the overall, you know, comment on the human services budget, and you've seen really, you know, bipartisan pushback, I think, on the governor's $1.5 billion in proposed cuts for human services. But his approach was very simplistic. It was basically, we're going to take $460 million and just shift it to the counties. That's not actually curbing spending in any meaningful way. It's just making property taxpayers pay for it, as you've heard today. And then the other remaining part of the cuts is largely just from capping inflation. And I think we have to do a number of things, including looking at eligibility. And if we're actually going to try to bend the cost curve for human services, we have to partner with counties to look at eligibility, to look at services that are approved, and to make sure that the most vulnerable are protected. I think, you know, one thing that the Senate Republican caucus is definitely focused on in terms of areas for cost savings are all of the benefits that got passed the last 2 years for non-citizens here in the state of Minnesota, whether we're looking at Minnesota Care, free college, tax credits that are going to non-citizens. And those are places that we need to look at prioritizing instead of just putting more and more of the burden on property taxpayers.
Republicans are I know that this is a bipartisan issue, but Republicans are typically in favor of budget cuts and inflationary caps. Why is this different?
I'd say, you know, it's important to note today that the $460 million in cost shifts that we're talking about, it's not actually a budget cut. What it's really doing is that you're just taking funding from the state level and saying that now we're going to have counties pick up that tab. Even though when you look at the Minnesota Sex Offender Program, disability waivers, many of the things that are included on here, counties don't really have control over what the service level need is in their area, and we're just going to ask them to pick up the tab. And so, again, you know, we want to look at smart ways to bend the cost curve within human services to target the people, make sure that the people who need resources the most are going to get them. But the governor's budget proposal is just a shift and capping rates. There's nothing that really gets at the core cost drivers. One of the programs that Senate Republicans have been supporting is PACE, to look at how we can help reduce the cost in our elderly waiver services. And we have a number of other proposals that we'll be talking about in the weeks to come, especially after the February forecast comes out.
With these discrepancies and disagreements on budget proposals, what's your, are you optimistic that a budget can pass on that, even though you guys are kind of butting heads on this?
I think we're here, we're doing the work, and I think it's really important that if we're going to solve these really challenging fiscal pictures that we have, we need to work with our local units of government. We need to work with county officials who are on the ground and understand where there might be savings opportunities and where we need to invest. And so we're going to continue to work and to get a budget done on time.
Is any of this, particularly with the disability waivers, which I know that funding, some of that funding, correct me if I'm wrong, is Medicaid funding, if not all of it? Or is this the waiver seeking the, the waiver to the Medicaid funded services? I'm just wondering if there's anything in this equation that should involve the federal government and its reimbursement of certain services.
When you look at specifically the medical assistance disability government, and there's nothing, in the governor's budget proposal that would really change that. It's just who is paying for that state share. We're shifting that onto the counties. And that's actually a good point as well. When we're looking at some of the benefits that have been assigned to non-citizens, we do not get federal reimbursement for that. And so if we're able to save $1 there, you're actually able to get $2 when you apply that to programs that are eligible for Medicaid.
But is there a broader, it's not, you can't impact what Congress does, I understand that. I don't know if anybody can these days, but I'm wondering if you think is that part of the problem? Are the reimbursement rates low or are they fine? Is that something that, if this is growing, that maybe, the federal delegation ought to fight for? I'm just wondering.
There might be opportunities. Typically how it works in this budget area is that you have a 50-50 cost share. So the state actually sets the rates and then the federal government picks up their 50% share for Medicaid.
If there's a cut to Medicaid, what in this budget area can the state do to fill that gap?
I'd say, I don't know any of the proposals that have touched on that, and it's tough to answer hypotheticals. But when we're looking at the governor's budget, he has put down in very clear black and white that he's planning on cutting human services spending by $1.5 billion. And to do that, he's going to be shifting $460 million onto property taxpayers. And that's a real proposal that we know about. It's tough to know what hypothetically might come down the line.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Always good to see you. Good job.